Thank you so much to Squarespace for being today's sponsor and for helping me build my new website, but more on that later. If I could go back to the very beginning of me starting this channel, this would have been the exact video that I would have hoped to come across because it would have given me pretty much everything that I would have needed to know, and I obviously cannot give that to myself now, but I can give it to you. And now, even if your dream is not to be on YouTube, but rather something else in the creative field, this video can still be helpful for you as well, and you will see why. And also, just before we start, I always get messages from you all asking me to check out your channel and to give my honest opinion, so I will be doing that, but I will talk about that more later. So I asked you all on Instagram what you would like to know about starting a YouTube channel and being a YouTuber, and I got a ton of replies, so I will be answering to some of those questions as well. And now get ready, because this is going to be a very long, very honest video. Feel free to pause and ask questions in the comment section, and I will be answering as many as I can. And also, this video is aimed at those who strive to make YouTube their career and not those who only want to have it as a hobby. And now I would like to split this video into 3 parts, and those parts are pre-starting, starting, and post-starting. And let's start with pre-starting. And now I want to give you all some context. So I will be sharing my personal story as we go so that you can get the full picture. So the year was 2018. I was 23, living in Sweden, working a full-time job. I had already graduated, I had worked a few jobs, I had traveled a bit. And as for my mental health, I wasn't very happy. I had always loved photography and writing and art, and I felt like I didn't have an outlet to express myself creatively. You know, my job wasn't the place for that at all. And so one day I thought, how about YouTube? Now that is obviously the short version of the whole story, and for further context, without getting into it too much, I didn't just think, how about YouTube, and then quit my job. I stayed at my job for months before eventually leaving, and I have a whole separate video dedicated to that. So if you're also in the how about YouTube phase, or even if you are in the yeah, totally YouTube phase, a good place to start is the why. What is your intention? You know, knowing that will help guide all the other decisions that you will need to make along the way. And look, it's okay to want the YouTuber lifestyle, the money, the attention, but I personally think that there needs to be something more than that, you know, a drive, because trust me when I say that you will need it. My main drive was that I wanted a creative outlet. You know, I wanted a project that would allow me to freely express myself and to explore my mind and creativity. And the thought of sharing that with other people and to build a community was really intriguing. Once you've identified your intention and your drive, and I'm looking at my computer for notes, by the way, the difficult part starts. It is the stage where most people become paralyzed, namely, how do I decide what I want to create? How do I decide what I want to film? How do I decide what my style is? Do I need a niche? Do I not? And so on. And I honestly think that there are only 2 rules when it comes to this. It needs to be interesting and intriguing to you as a creator, and it needs to be interesting and intriguing to the viewer. And there is no secret formula to what that is. Some people's entire channel is them brushing their cat, and they are incredibly successful doing so, and I love those channels, by the way. Others create amazing cinematic videos. Some people just take silent walks and film that. You know, the spectrum is ginormous. So what should your first video or videos be? To figure it out, and I bet you will not see this one coming, I would suggest you start with writing. That is what I did. I wrote down my ideas, anything I had in mind, any vision that I had, anything that inspired me. You know, the things that I was drawn to. Any song, artist, city, movie, I wrote about where I fit into it all. You know, I also wrote about what usually draws other people to me. Is it my humor? Is it my wisdom? Is it my calmness? How do I stop spending months looking for a perfect idea of the first video and simply start? Now, don't expect to land at this one brilliant idea, but do try to land at something. So I landed at a few different things. I thought of doing videos on the environment or doing interviews and a couple other ideas. And it wasn't anything precise and it wasn't much, but it did give me something to work with. So for instance, I realized that, oh, okay, I want to provide something that is thought-provoking somehow. And look, if you change your mind down the line and decide that you want to do something different, that is fine. My guess is that 99% of all YouTubers have privated or deleted at least one or a few of their videos from their early days.
Watch my next video and I will make your ears pop.
Because people change and our direction changes and what we want to create changes. You know, you're not forever tied to those first videos of yours. So take some pressure off yourself and ditch the idea of perfection. And I am literally telling this to myself as well. The most successful people on YouTube aren't successful because their videos are perfect or because their ideas are perfect. The very first step of their success is that they did not spend forever trying to figure it out. You know, they took one idea and made something out of it, and then they learned and adjusted as they went on. You know, it's kind of like cooking. You don't not cook just because you're afraid your first meal won't be perfect, right? So what is the option? Starving or eating out for the rest of your life? No. You check your fridge, you see what's in there, you figure out how you can make the best meal possible with what you have right now, and you start cooking. And then you offer the food to some strangers on the internet and see how they react and what they think. And then you evaluate and apply what you learn and repeat for the next meal. And now let's take a small break and thank our sponsor today, which is Squarespace. Now, since we're talking about being a YouTuber and being a creator, or even if you are a business owner or a blogger, it's especially convenient to talk about having your own website. Most creators have their own website and there is good reason for it. You know, it's a good way to get your stuff out there and to have your own little space. And with Squarespace, it is really easy. You just pick one of their beautiful and professional templates and start building a site that is going to suit your needs. And if you do need any help on the way, their customer service really is excellent, which just makes it that much easier. I've had my website with Squarespace for almost a year now, and I'm very happy with it. And you can find my book recommendations on there. I've also listed all of my camera equipment, everything that I use to film these videos. What is also really great is that you get really close insights to the traffic on the site so that you know how many people are visiting, where they are coming from, and so on. To try it out for yourself, head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you are ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Lana Blakely to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And I will of course leave the link for that in the description box as well. Okay, now let's say you have checked your pantry and you have decided on what ingredients you are going to use and what dish you're aiming at creating. You're going to need some cookingware to make that dish come to life. And the same goes for making your video ideas come to life, except instead of cookingware, you're going to need some camera gear, a video editing software, and perhaps a place to get some music for your videos. So this is the camera that I started with. It's a great starter camera, good price. I only switched it out about a year ago to the camera that I have right now. And this was the first mic that I got. Also good price, not the greatest sound-wise, but does the job, and I will link both of those in the description box. So to answer the question, do I need to buy expensive camera gear? So as you saw, those are the only two things that I started out with, and that is honestly more than what some people start with. And so the short answer is no. And the longer answer is that it depends on what you want to create, but still no. You start with what you have or with what you can have. And you know, most people do not start with expensive camera gear, and some people never get expensive camera gear ever, even when they grow and even when they can. And now why is that? Because they don't need it. Although production quality can matter and does matter to some extent, what matters the most is always and will always be the story. It is the person, it is you, it is what you are telling us and showing us, and it is how you are telling us and showing us. And now speaking of story, the real magic often happens during the editing process, for which I use Premiere Pro. So to answer the question, how did I learn to edit? I got Premiere Pro and I started experimenting. I watched a lot of tutorials. I made my own little film. Should I get into it? Yeah, whatever. I filmed this little drama, horror, not really horror, but very suspense short film at home. It was like 3 minutes, but I wanted to see how intense I could make a very, very easy to film video just by adding music and by editing. Anyway, now I found my workflow when it comes to editing, which works really well for me personally. And speaking of music, you cannot just use any music that you want for your videos because you will get copyright strikes. So I get all my music from Epidemic Sound, and just like Premiere, it is a monthly subscription and you get access to a huge library of music that you are free to use for your videos, and I will leave the link for that in the description as well. And now let's talk about the really fun stuff, when the camera is actually rolling. So I got the question, and quite a lot of people did ask similar questions. How do you express your real self on camera? And I can only speak from my experience and say that I have struggled with this quite a bit. For instance, one thing that I do struggle with to this day is the language barrier, which, I mean, it feels weird calling it a barrier because I don't have any issues at all speaking English, but I only speak it for my videos. You know, I speak Swedish 95% of the time, and because of that, it's difficult to show my true personality in English, especially humor and even my energy sometimes. It's just different when it's a different language. But language barrier or not, being on camera like this is kind of weird because you are essentially just sitting by yourself, just talking all alone, while trying to keep in mind that you are actually indirectly talking to other people who will be watching. But just like with most things, I think that feeling comfortable and like yourself comes with practice. You know, the more that I'm on camera, the more comfortable I get. And I also think that the more connected you get to your audience, the more comfortable and yourself you get around them. Kind of like any friendship, you know what I mean? At least that's been my experience. But a small piece of advice that I have, and this might feel a bit weird, is to stand or sit in front of a mirror and just watch yourself talk and get comfortable talking to yourself, because that is essentially what you will be doing anyway, depending on the content that you are going to make. and try to get into the mindset that you're actually talking to people. And now let's address the elephant in the room. How do you get views? How do you get your first 1,000 subscribers? Are there any tricks to getting more views? So Lady Algorithm is the queen of YouTube. She decides whose videos to promote and whose not to promote. And how do you get on her good side? I don't know. Some say that it is good if you have good watch time on your videos, aka that people watch your videos for as long as possible, because that will show YouTube that this video is interesting and that is something that Lady Algorithm will want to promote. I haven't necessarily found that to be true for my videos. But besides the algorithm, because that is a topic on its own and I recommend that you do some research on it, let's talk about the things that you do have control over. So, for starters, your profile photo. Again, YouTube is all about intrigue and interest. So don't just pick a random blurry photo that blends into the crowd. Just be intentional with it. The second piece of advice that I have is to comment on other people's videos. This is how you will get noticed while also helping the creator whose video you are commenting on, because Lady Algorithm apparently likes it when there are a lot of comments and likes on a person's video. That is why you all really help me out a lot when you like and comment on my videos. So if you haven't done that already. With that being said, do not spam. No one will click on your video if you just write something like, please, please, please check out my channel. Write something interesting or nice, and if convenient, refer to your own channel or a video on your channel in that comment. And if people are intrigued for whatever reason, they might want to check you out. And even if they don't, seeing your name pop up in comment sections here and there will create some awareness around you. But again, and I repeat, do not spam. How do you stay motivated in the beginning? Also very frequently asked and completely understandable. So I want to end this video with one of the things that really helped me stay motivated even when I was barely getting any views or subscribers, and it's actually something that Casey Neistat said in, I think it was a video that he made when he reached 10 million subscribers, and he said something like, the first 10,000 were harder to gain than 10 million. Something like that. And that really stuck with me for some reason and helped me when I needed to push myself. Now, I didn't talk about money in this video, and that is because I already covered it a bit in the first video that I made about starting a YouTube channel, which I will link here somewhere. And also because I'm thinking of maybe doing a video fully dedicated to the money side of YouTube. And now, as I said in the beginning of this video, I do want to check out you guys' channels and give my honest opinion. So if you have a channel, leave a comment below and write something about what you do. And if you want me to comment on it, please write that specifically, because I don't want to go and criticize someone who didn't even ask for it. And also feel free to comment if you are any kind of creator, whether that is music or art or anything. I would love to check it out, and I'm sure other people would like to check it out as well. So feel free to promote. And if you don't have any videos yet, or if you just want me to comment on a video that you haven't posted yet, whenever you do, just tag me on it. I will find it and I will comment on as many as I can. And I will see you soon.